Hello everyone and welcome back to, well, my second video of the Forza RC. Today we're to the Sunday Heats in this beamer. We've got the next round of racing to show off today. This was the best race I took part in. Again, pretty similar to last time if you watched that video in the Dodge Challenger, but this time there's going to be contact. Track limits are enforced a lot more than they were in the first race, but yeah, I mean, without further ado, I just think we should get on with this race and just show off how insane this is, because it does get pretty close, to say the least. So here we go then, on the grid, P6 we're starting in, just behind JSR Commando, the guy who we were battling in the last video. We've got Rich 92 F1 ahead, Bam 7, Bocat behind. We've got a few, well, very familiar names in this lobby, including Roadrunner in the lead, boxes just behind. And as we come into turn 1, really just focusing on braking. We kind of get it a bit, we're very cautious actually on the brakes, going quite wide on exit as well, but just focusing on Commando and Rich. There's a gap here that I kind of see and half commit, but I didn't want to cause an accident because obviously there are collisions at the moment up ahead. Rich 92 F1 though was on the grass on the exit of turn 2, so that's going to hinder his exit, and it has, as Commando's already ahead. And that's not really ideal actually, because Commando is the target here. You know, he's the target man, he's who we're aiming for. And as we kind of go for a half move again on the inside of Rich, it's kind of a recurring theme of this lap so far. You know, we're only a few corners in, but already I've done that twice, so maybe something for me to think about in the next couple races, about being more decisive if I'm going to go for a move or not. But the train of cars is progressing pretty well here. The pace is pretty decent, but Rich is in the way at the moment. You know, I want to be up with Commando, and he looks to be already challenging on the back of Bam 7, who's the car just ahead that you can see of Commando. To come around the very long right in this beamer, it's this is really not an easy track whatsoever, but I can see a gap here that Rich has left open, so I'm going to commit a bit more decisively, going slightly on the grass because of the lack of space, a tiny bit of contact, but I managed to get a cut back on Rich. And yeah, for the Forza RC, I honestly think that that's actually quite a decent move there, opening him up like that. So, you know, not too bad at all. Skipping ahead now just a few corners into the final corner of lap 1. See Commando up ahead, but watch this. I mean, he gets up on the curb, he gets a bit of a sim twitch, and in my shock of seeing that, I actually took the last corner pretty badly as well, but it's still nothing compared to what Commando did there, luckily. So we are gaining on him very, you know, consistently, significantly up the back straight, which means that we're now right where we want to be. We're already pressuring him. I actually eased off into turn 1 to ensure I didn't just barrel him in the rear end, which would have been quite nasty, I expect, in the, you know, at this stage of the race. But so yeah, my focus now is just on Commando and just putting the pressure on, as we're actually getting, you know, pressure applied on us from Rich behind. But I don't, you know, at this stage of the race, I never ever thought that he was a threat of getting past us, but more just ensuring that, you know, if we made a mistake, yeah, he'd get past, but I didn't feel the pressure in that. I didn't think he would, you know, go for a crazy lunge or anything like that, which is good, because, you know, often you do get people behind that you kind of have to be more wary with. So it was quite a relief to feel that sort of security from the car behind. But as we continue on this lap though, just still focusing on Commando, the pace actually with us was really good indeed. Commando's, as I'm sure you're aware, you know, if you're not, then, you know, pay more attention to the FRC basically, because Commando is seriously quick. He's in the top 10, I do believe, in the world, you know, at this game, so not too bad. Meanwhile, in terms of my position, I'm currently ranked about 32nd because last series I had A-level exams on, so I literally couldn't do a lot of stuff. You know, I wasn't able to make any of the races pretty much because of exams and stuff, so I fell quite far down, and I'm having to recover it now to try and get back into the top 24 the end of Series 2 in the world, just to secure a spot in London. But even that's going to be tricky because obviously with summer and stuff like that, it's like my life can't just be completely doing this FRC stuff, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, back to the racing, and we're coming to the end of lap 2 now. Commando's still ahead, and it's just interesting to see this gap develop. We are seeming to be just catching up to the cars ahead, and it'll be interesting to see how this battle actually does develop. Now we skip on another 2 laps, and the pack of myself, Commando and Rich has actually made some decent progress. We've stayed very, very close to each other, as you can see coming into this braking zone. But at the same time, we're all lapping really, really well. And if you look up ahead, you'll actually see that the leading pack are starting to battle a bit. And this really did change my aim for this race. I mean, at the moment, I'm kind of on the back of Commando, maybe thinking about throwing a lunge if I could. But now I've seen that battling, it's very clear to see that actually what I need to do is work with him and work with Rich behind as well, in order to gain on that pack. Because if we can get up behind them, then obviously we're going to have the opportunity potentially to even get up to first, you know, if that pack really does disintegrate with its pace. So coming into this chicane, I mean, look at the gap, they're all so close to each other. You've got, who is that? That's Box, Roadrunner and 7. So you've got 3 very quick drivers, of course, but we're lapping faster than them. And as you can see, Commando's right on the back of BAM 7 now, which is really, really good news, because it means that we can start thinking about attacking them rather than, you know, just sitting behind them and accepting that 4th place is as good as we're going to get. But at this rate, we could seriously, you know, we could attack them, which is why I was feeling quite confident at this stage, coming on to the last corner of lap 4 now. And as you can see up at the top right, the lap times are staying very consistent, just half a tenth down. We were about half a tenth up at the end of sector 2 of this lap. But coming onto the main straight now, look at this. I mean, they're so close, slipstream everywhere, and they're all trying to get slipstream from each other. I think they've forgotten the fact that they're playing Forza there, and slipstream doesn't really do much. But we've broken away from Rich. It looks like he's made a little mistake on the end of that lap. Coming into turn 1 though, clipping that curb, using a tiny bit of the exit curve as well, getting a decent exit into turn 2 as well. And you can see how close we are now to the leading pack. You could just about see that it popped up with Roadrunner's name. You know, we're within range to see his name, which is pretty good, because, you know, a few laps ago they were absolutely miles ahead. But on the exit of turn 2, it looks like Commando and the rest of the pack have absolutely nailed it, because they've kind of pulled away a little bit coming into this really slow corner, the slowest corner on the track, I think. Or it might be that chicane now that we're doing the alternate circuit. But coming up the hill, weird corner this. Very quick though. I mean, if you get it right, it's quite a lot of lap time to gain there. Through the fast right, and you can see BAM 7's gotten up onto the grass. Onto this slow left, just about to come into the really long right-hander. But look at how close we are now. This is properly close. We could, you know, I'm starting to think about eyeing up a move. Hopefully, you know, even just waiting for Commando to attack on 7, and then we could just pounce on that and just steal the positions. It's something that really could happen in this race because of how close we are. We nearly got killed by Rich there. That would have been quite interesting. But look at how close we are to Commando. We're part of this train, and the question is, do I wait for him to attack 7, or do I attack Commando and take him on myself? That's the question, and that's what I was having to think about in this race. But I always found that Commando was braking a bit early as we kind of go into a gap that barely existed, and now we've got a run on Commando on the outside. He's pushing us out onto the curb, which is completely fair and legal. I've given him room on the inside, he's given me room on the outside. But diving now into the last corner, up onto the curb, and left Commando a bit of space on the outside, but he's managed to retain that position. But the thing is, right, is after that move I actually did regret it, to be honest, because look at the gap between us and that leading pack now. That move has cost me nearly a second. It's just ridiculous. Like, you know, almost an angry looking shunt on the back of Commando there, but I think that was him braking early rather than me braking late, which makes it all okay. Coming into turn 2 again now though, Rich is still really close behind us, but you know, we're on the last lap now, and if I was to do this race again, I would have been more patient, I think. That's one thing to take away from this race. You know, even in Series 1, in one of the last races, I'm not sure if you saw it, but there was an IndyCar race around here, and I went for a move on my teammate Virus on the last corner of this track, on the last lap, and it actually cost me a position, because I just ended... You can't overtake there. I don't know why I keep on trying to overtake into the final corner. I think it's just because people keep on making mistakes into the... You know, as you come off of the back straight, and then I get a run, think, oh, I've got to make the most of this run. And, well, clearly it doesn't really pay off. So something to consider if you're doing races around here. Just, you know, ease off, be a bit patient, you know, more patient than I was being. But nonetheless, though, 4th is still on the cards here. We may have just half a lap left, but, you know, Commando's right there. Commando's looking pretty vulnerable as we come into this chicane, you know, and it's so close. I mean, practically just mirroring him at the moment. It's unbelievable as we get the exit from the chicane. But Commander's done a good job there of doing a good exit. He's gotten a good run. We're 2/10 up actually on our best time, so it proves that the pace is definitely there at the moment, because, you know, once again, I do believe we're gaining on the lead pack. It's just that, unfortunately, my move has not done the best. You know, it's basically not helped us at all, so it's a bit of a silly move as Commando goes up onto the grass. What could happen here? Feinting to the inside, and then, look at this. As if I couldn't learn the first time. Up on the inside, try to knock Commando out of the way slightly, but it's not going to happen as we pull in behind that really nice JSR paint, to be fair. It's good paint there, and across the line in 5th position. Wow, so what a race. I mean, it was really, really close, but at the same time I learnt a lot. As you can see by the fastest lap times, we were actually the 2nd fastest, I do believe, to Roadrunner. In terms of best lap, but even then, you know, my best lap, I lost a 10th because I made a move on my best lap. So thank you very much though for watching. I'll catch you next time for another video, and leave a like rating if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more as always, but yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.